As someone who's lived in America for about 5 years now and completed her master's and worked in the corporate culture, I still feel weird when I have to call my boss with his name or when I see a gun shop just around the corner of the street. We think that we've seen these American series like Office and Friends and seen these Hollywood movies, so we know everything about the culture, but the reality is full of surprises and shocking that nobody really tells you. So today I'm sharing the 13 biggest social and cultural shocks you are going to experience when you first move to the US, especially if you're coming from countries like Asian countries like India. Let's just start with the one that freaks me out, the gun culture. Back at home, I'm from India, so back at home I never have seen guns in real life, unless, I don't know, it was a police thing or something. But in the US, you will see signs like gun shop or shooting range just driving down the highway because it's legal here and you are allowed to carry firearms in public. And here, even in day-to-day conversations, someone will casually say, hey, I went to this range this weekend, I went for hunting, I went for shooting, and that's just very normal. I remember once I was invited to this turkey killing festival and I was like, no thanks. So during the Thanksgiving festival, here everybody enjoys eating turkeys, and many people also go and hunt them, and then they get it and cook the same one that they killed and enjoy the turkey on the Thanksgiving dinner. It's a little scary at first, also shocking, but it's just normal. So just be aware. Also, just follow the local laws and avoid any confrontation, because you never know who might be having a gun, and in their defense, they can do that. And so avoid any road rage. Second is the dating culture. When I hear the word dating, I know some countries dating is seen as a taboo and you're not really allowed to date unless you know that this is the one for you and you have to settle down with them. Here it's very casual and you can on multiple dates with multiple people until you decide to be exclusive, of course, and nobody's judging you for that. So when you come here, don't judge people on that, because it's very normal. Also, using online dating apps, I used those apps just to find friends, and that's all, and that's okay too. You can always have a chat and understand if they are interested in being your friends, and you can go out and have coffee with them, and you will be able to learn so much about the culture. Even for women, it's pretty safe as long as you are just you are just making the right choices. Just be respectful of everyone's boundaries and be direct. If you do happen to meet the wrong person, just say you're not interested and then move on. Third is, this one's really funny, the dining manners. So where I come from, I just love to share food with people. You just take a bite without asking anyone, from my parents' plates, from my cousins or from my friends, and nobody cares, because that's what the culture we grew up in. But in America, it's common for people just to order their own dish and eat their own dish. People are not automatically just going to share bites from their plates, and so don't do that. That's very just rude and not welcomed, unless you have become very close with someone and you ask them about it first. Then when it comes to the bills, splitting is also very normal and it's totally fine. You just pay for your own food and they will pay for their own food. We can use apps like Venmo and Zelle just to make it easy. Also, potluck is a big thing here. If you're invited somewhere, it's highly possible that they will ask you to just bring a dish. So if you do get invited, don't go empty-handed, and you can take anything you like from your culture or whatever, but always take something. In India, I was always insisting, hey, I'll pay your bill, and that's what we love doing, just out of friendliness. But here, splitting everything evenly is what is the rule. Unless somebody is specifically offering that I'm going to pay for it, let them do it and you can do it the next time. Tipping culture, I think this is everyone's favorite. It's a little bit on the financial side. So in the US, everybody like waiters, bartenders, taxi drivers, delivery people, they rely on tips to make a living because the minimum wage it depends on, but it's pretty low, $7 to $12. So restaurant standard tip is at least 15 to somewhere to 25% if you're going to a good restaurant, and not tipping is considered kind of rude unless the service was really terrible. So you'll get like a machine and they'll just show that to you, and it automatically shows you how much percentage you want to give. You can just select that and it'll just be automatically deducted from your card. And along with the tip, you also have sales tax, state tax, and some of these things. So if you do eat one person meal of 20, and if you do go to a nice restaurant, it can go up to, you would have to pay 25% on top of it just to cover everything. And I've heard that the tipping culture is fading away, but I just still do it because I don't want to come off as rude. If you know something more about it, if there are people watching who are already in the US, and it'll be interesting to see how much do you tip. I generally go from 15 to 20%. It'll be nice to hear how much do you guys tip and what do you think about this. The next one is the personal space. Now, this is an invisible bubble. Americans like to keep a distance. You know, when you're talking, usually an arm's length. If you stand too close or in a queue, you'll see that they will give you space and they'll step back and they will give you space to do the talking. But it's not something personal, it's just comfort level here. And casual touching, like putting an arm around a colleague, and it just makes people feel uncomfortable. So unless you're really close friends and they're doing it too, just don't do this. Friendly hugs are okay if you have become friends, but don't do it with strangers. Just a firm handshake in a professional setting and saying hi to strangers, that's fine and that's good. Direct communication. So here's something that took me a while to adjust to. People are just super direct here. If they don't agree with something or they don't agree with you, they'll just say it directly. If they can't do something, they'll just say no. In India, I used to soften my responses so that I don't offend someone, and make sure that I don't say anything or disagree with someone so that they feel they get hurt. But seriously, I love it because here clarity is seen as respect, and I really appreciate that. The more direct you are, the more actually respectful this is considered here. You don't have to say yes to everything. If you don't agree with something, say no, and state the reason, give honest feedback, and be genuine with your responses. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody senior or if it's a colleague or a friend or somebody you're just casually meeting, and it overall just avoids any sort of confusion at your end as well. If you actually say silent and avoid it, that can actually be concerning. So just be straightforward. Just if somebody is inviting you somewhere and if you can't go, you can just say, I'm afraid I can't make it today. Is there a better option? Suggest that and just move on, and don't feel guilty about it. If you adapt this way, it'll really help you build trust with people, and they will know that they can trust you, and they can also take your words at face value. This one's my favorite, calling everyone, introducing yourself with your first name and calling everybody with their first names. There's no culture is very informal here, and culture is relatively informal here and egalitarian in how people address each other. It will be surprising because many senior people and professors and your managers and everybody, you just have to call them by their first name. If you do too much ma'am and professor this and that would actually be more weird. Here, on a day-to-day basis, it's not about hierarchy. They expect that you call them by their first name, but you do that through your tone and through your behavior rather than putting sir and ma'am in their names when you're calling them. And the fun part is that I was saying you can disagree with people, so you can actually just even debate with the CEO of the company, and that's generally acceptable. But you can just share your thoughts in a polite way, and that's totally acceptable. So the quickest way to make a bad impression with your colleagues, with your friends, with your classmates is to be late at something. Time is taken pretty seriously here. If the meeting is at 10, then they expect everybody to be in the meeting room by 9:59 at the least. If it's like a casual hangout. There also, if it's at 6 p.m. in the evening, they do expect you to be there at 5:55 or something, not like 10 or 6:20. So usually people do have early lunch here around 11 or 12, and dinner also around. Some people have it at 5 to 7, something like that. So it's possible that you will be invited to a lot of these breakfast, lunch, dinner, and so be in time, even if it's a casual setting. And for office work, please don't be late. It's not a good thing. So, and traffic will always be there, so don't give that excuse. That is expected that you take all of that into consideration and you make it happen how other people are making it happen. In cases that does happen, if you are getting late for something and you have a genuine reason, just call them up or text them and give them a heads up, and that works totally fine. Privacy and independence is also very important here. That's why we've seen that 18-year-old teens will move out of their parents' homes, and why you're asking personal questions, someone's relationship status or age can feel very intrusive. So if you ask someone, be prepared. They might answer that that's none of your business, and they won't mean it rudely, but that's just the culture. Once you do get close to that person, then if they are discussing similar things with you, then you can make that choice of asking some personal questions as well. Otherwise, always try to pick up topics that are very common and that are considered safe, weather and your hobbies and anything about work and things like that. This one, I think we know something called small talk. But I think it's very different when you actually have to do it and you experience it yourself here. So strangers, they'll just come up to you in the gym or at your workplace, and they would casually talk to you about, hey, what's up, how are you, or how was your weekend, and or anything interesting that comes up in the conversations. If you're in an elevator, if you see each other every day, if it's like a neighbor, if you're waiting for coffee in a grocery store, it's very normal that people would be waving at you, hi, or doing a quick hi, good morning, and asking how is it going. So sometimes the conversations if it clicks, the conversations can last a little longer, but usually it'll just be like a small talk, and somebody saying hi, how are you, and you can just say good, and how about you. And that's just fine. After that, don't expect them to reply. It's possible that you've just moved onto the next aisle in that grocery store and you're just hoping to listen back, but no, they've moved on. That's just an accepted social norm here, not replying to a question when you were the first to ask the question yourself. And some of the safe topics again that you can strike in a conversation, you can talk about sports, you can talk about the weather, anything you see around, you can just make a comment. That's totally fine. But again, no personal questions, and no sharing your personal life history and your struggles with random strangers. Another one, I think it's very interesting, diversity. Back in India, I had never seen or met anybody outside my own culture. So one of the best parts about living here is the diversity of it. You will meet people from all over the world, often in the same city or even in the same workplace. It's very multicultural mix, and you will see different festivals and foods and traditions being celebrated from Chinese to Indian to American, all of these, and that's what makes it. That's why there's some sort of celebration always going on, and that's what keeps it alive. It's also just a great way to make friends from completely different backgrounds. Don't hesitate to talk to them, and in fact make an effort to talk to them. You can actually become really good friends with people from Spain or Mexico, from China. You never know what you learn. So people are actually curious to learn about you as well, because you're from a different culture. So welcome that, embrace that, and share about your journey and ask questions about their journey. Be curious, and you will make great friends. I think this one is really important for students participating in classrooms. In the beginning, initially, I was also very hesitant about it, and people and professors and everyone will understand, but eventually there is an expectation for you to participate. Your professors will actually, in every lecture, they will have this participation grade. It's like 10 or 20%, so it matters a lot, and you will be asked to at least ask 2 questions or share at least 2 opinions in a lecture, and you have to do that, otherwise you lose that 20%. So ask questions, speak up, be polite, share your opinion, share new ideas, and that's really appreciated here. Even similarly in the workplace as well, if you have an idea, then share it. Staying quiet can make you seem like disengaged or not interested, and that's not good for your own growth or not even respectful. And the other aspect is collaboration, like group projects in school and team meetings will expect everyone to contribute, and leadership will be, it's a very good skill to develop while you're in school. And then initially it might feel, but take initiative and it'll try to improve your communication as well and integrate in that academic culture, and that would really help you and make a strong impression of you. And then the last one is just be polite. Little words like please, thank you, excuse me, sorry. You can use them all the time, even with family or their close friends. Holding the door for someone and saying bless you when someone sneezes, they might seem small, but they really matter a lot. If you accidentally bump into someone on the street, just say, oh sorry, even if it was an accident, because they would also say sorry, so don't be surprised. And if you're passing by in a crowd, people will generally say excuse me, or if they need your attention, so you will hear all of that a lot. And if people will say thank you a lot, so you can just say you're welcome. And you will hear this everywhere, bus stops to fast food counters to movie theaters. So these are just basic etiquettes here. Similarly, it goes for cleanliness also. If somebody invites you at their places, they also expect you to help them clean up sometimes, and in public for sure it's a must that we maintain that cleanliness etiquettes and don't throw things from our car on the roads, and don't do that littering and just basic stuff, because you actually can get fined here a lot if they see you making any sort of mess or even noise. If they see you that in a public place you're making a lot of noise, that can also get you in trouble. So be aware of all of these. So there you have it, 13 social cultural shocks that I have faced personally, and you probably will have to face when you first come to the US. But just knowing them in advance, I think would have helped me. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. Hope it helps at least one person today and helps you blend in faster. Share in the comment section which one did you think was the crazy one, and if you're already in the US, which ones have you experienced, and have a funny story to share. If you found this helpful, check out my other videos and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.